Hello all, back with you again after a week off. Yep, sorry about last week. I was a little bit under the weather. You might be able to tell in my old voice. But welcome back to my shed for In, On and Gone number 71. The main question this week is, did my eBay promotional sale work? I'm going to give you a little bit of feedback because you can run promotional sales that can last for like 2 weeks. And I use them to shift some of the stuff that maybe hasn't worked in terms of being sold within the 12-month period that I set the target for each and every one of my products. Also, I'm going to reveal another product that I can add to my repertoire of stuff that does resell very, very well. Or, well, this one sold. I've never sold anything like it before, and it sold very quickly and for a good price as well, with a good markup on it. So, get a brew, get a coffee, sit back, get some bickies in, and I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story about many products, because it's been 2 weeks since I last did a video. Yeah, there's a couple more than normal in this. So, yeah, it's a bit of a bumper one, this one. I think there's like 19 or 20 products that I'm going to talk to you about. But it's split into 3 sections this week. Normally I split it into 2, those that sell quickly and those that have taken a little bit longer. But this week I'm going to talk about the stuff that sold on a promotion, talk about the stuff that sold quickly, and talk about the stuff that took a little bit longer to sell as well. So sit back, enjoy. So, yeah, I do this about every 3 months. What I do is I'll put into the eBay software to run a promotion on everything, to have a look at my whole store, which currently is about 240 products, and to identify those that have been on the store for a year and to discount them. And this time I ran it at a 60% discount. Now, the whole philosophy of this is to basically just get those products shifted and to get a bit of money back for them. It's not necessarily a profit, because it could be that they just haven't worked. It could be that, you know, on eBay, people just aren't buying this sort of thing. On my channel, if you're a regular viewer, you'll always see that I encourage you to, you know, try new things. You can't make an omelette without breaking eggs. You can't swim without getting wet. So if you want to learn about reselling, you've got to try a whole variety of products. Some will work and some won't work. And it's the ones that won't work that I want to try and shift on now. Okay, so the first one that falls into this category, I did make a bit of a profit on, but that's purely because it was something from around my house. And the brand in question is Vans. Okay. You know, pretty classic trainers, but in terms of clothing, doesn't really work. There's not really that much demand for it. It's very much a skateboarding related brand. And yeah, some of the teens wear it. Okay, it is popular amongst teenagers, but not really anybody else. In terms of Vans clothing, you very rarely see it on other people apart from teenagers. So this one didn't really sell that well. But in the end, after the promotion and the promotional offer, I took a offer of £6 on this t-shirt, £2.09 back. So that's £2.09 profit. So yeah, you could argue that maybe I put it on for too much. It is important to look through your stuff and to check the prices, and maybe see if anything's been put on for too much. And it does seem that this one slipped through the net. But if you do these regular promotions, then you do catch that stuff that has slipped through the net, and you can just move it on. So yeah, profit of 209%. So yeah, I was quite pleased with that, just to get it moved on. This next one, okay, again, a little bit of profit made on this. Could be that I didn't quite get the pricing right, but with regular promotions, then, you know, you can put that right. This was a Grow Egg baby thermometer. Baby stuff usually sells quite well. Baby monitors, like thermometers. I think Lindam do like a night light as well that keeps the room at a certain light. They usually sell quite well as well. But this one, it was bought by the same. I had 2 Grow Eggs. They were bought by the same person, but they were bought separately. I think they tried one. okay, liked what they saw and then bought another one. So combined, these went for, well, they cost me £5, okay, both together. So £2.50 cost me £5 altogether. And then combined, I sold them both for £13.60. Take fees and postage off, I'm left with £5.36, 36p profit, 7%. Okay, but again, this was sold in a promotion. I now know that these, you got to source them at a low price. Okay, sourcing them maybe even for £2.50 wasn't enough. You're talking about £1 so that you can put them on quite cheap and then they shift. You might be thinking to yourself, well, yeah, of course they will. But there are some products where people will only really be interested in them if it is a very, very cheap price. And this was one of them. As I said, a baby monitor, people will actually take into account slightly higher prices. With these grow eggs, they won't. Okay, so yeah, interesting. Okay, next up, in terms of my promotional sales, it was a vintage Marks and Spencer's knit jumper, but it had the St. Michael label on it. So this means that it's vintage. This means that the St. Michael label was discontinued round about the year 2000. So I'd seen on, some media and stuff that vintage jumpers with St. Michael on it were in quite high demand. So I found one and thought, well, let's give this a go then. And no, it took ages. It took absolutely ages. And it was quite a nice jumper. It was like a chunky knit one, but it didn't really get much attention whatsoever. And the listing that I put it on for, it contained the word vintage. It contained the word St. Michael. It contained the words knit. So there was nothing really wrong with the title. It was just the product didn't really sell that well. And since I've sold it, I've had good feedback saying it's a lovely jumper. It was in great condition, but yeah, the demand isn't there. All right. Sometimes one of the things that you've got to teach yourself is don't believe the hype. Okay. You've got to think to yourself, definitely, is this a product that would sell? Sometimes you just got to take the hype out of it and actually have a think. And yeah, this one, again, I tried, but it's not something that I'll be buying again. I paid for it £3.75, okay, and I sold it for £8.20. All right, after fees and postage, I got £3.75 back, so I made nothing on it, zero. I think that's the first time that's happened on this channel that I haven't made any profit or any loss. It has come back, the figures have come back at zero. So yeah, that is not something that I will be sourcing again. Next up, I was quite surprised at this one because I've sold the same product before and made a pretty decent profit on it. And these are just a pair of just flat Marks and Spencer's ladies' court shoes that were virtually brand new, but they just didn't shift. I would say that these are good office shoes to wear, good occasion shoes to wear. If you're wanting a pair of just black shoes and you haven't got any, black shoes are probably as needed in virtually everybody's wardrobe, but these ones just didn't sell. But put onto the promotion, they did. They were a pair of low block heel court shoes, size 7.5. Maybe it was the size, because the other ones that I sold were a smaller size. Don't know. But I got them for £6 and sold them for £7.60. £3.26 back. So that was a loss of £2.74. So a loss of 45%. Yeah, it's a loss. Not every single product is going to sell at profit. As long as, I would say over 60, 70% of your products sell at a profit, then you're probably going to make a profit. But, mine is 95, 96% of my products make a profit. So, you have to accept that there might be some that don't quite get there. And this is one. What I do is I just take the philosophy, just get the money back. Okay, even if it is a little bit less, reinvest that money in something else and then begin to build it that way. You win some, you lose some. And this was a loss. So, yeah, we move on. So all in all, from my promotion on probably 40 products, roughly, 5 sold because there were 2 grow eggs that sold. So that is 5 out of 40, so that's 12.5%. Now, yeah, some have sold. I've got some money back, but I would have preferred it to have been a bit more. However, there's still some products left, and it's those sort of products that I could take to a car boot over the summer and just put them on a table and just see what happens. So, you know, there are many ways of selling these like products that are hanging around for a long time. As I said, in about 3 months' time, I'll promote them again. All right, I promoted it at 60% this time. Maybe I'll try 65, 70% next time if there's a lot that aren't like that. Or another thing that you can do is if you just want to get rid of them, you can put them onto an auction and just start at 1p and just see if anybody does actually buy it that way. I know that there's some resellers that do that with products that just aren't doing anything for them. You know, and that would save me then from going to a car boot. But I like a car boot, and I quite like being the buyer, and I quite like being the seller. So, you know, it's no skin off my nose. I'm not really disappointed by it, but I have shifted a few more things. So, you know, in the end of the day, I am quite happy with what's happened because there are many different ways of selling things on not just eBay, but other platforms and other methods as well. Okay, so quick sellers. Now, quick sellers fall into the category. They sold in a week and they've been promoted. And I usually promote at between 2 and 4%. Oh, there's a bit of a difference. Normally, I'll just say 2%. I've upped it a little bit. I'm finding that my sales have dropped off a bit. Now, that is my fault because I haven't been listing as much. I've been looking around. I've been looking at maybe some other ways of developing incomes. There are some videos coming up where I'm looking at doing other things that could develop income streams. One of them is designing a spreadsheet for resellers. I've nearly finished it. I'm on the last sheet at the moment. So look out for that maybe in a few weeks' time. And as well, I'm going to start, it's not just eBay, I'm going to start to develop an Etsy shop as well. And the spreadsheet is going to go onto that Etsy shop. So, yeah, they're exciting times ahead, definitely. Now, so I'm promoting it between 2 and 4% because, as I say, I'm seeing the sales are dropping a little bit. But I'm actually thinking that are eBay turning down their level of promotion at 2%? Don't know. So I'm going up to 4 and seeing if there is a difference. Now, I found some stuff out about eBay promotions over the past couple of weeks that I'm going to do a future video on. And I'm not particularly pleased about it. But hey, again, that's please subscribe to the channel because I found some things out about eBay promotions that I don't think are very fair. Not at all, actually. I'm 100% against this. I actually think eBay are acting a little bit like the mafia. But anyway, we'll go on. So what was this fast selling product? Right, let's get there. Marks and Spencer's, okay, merino wool cardigan. At this time of year, it's the present for dad. It's the present for granddad. Great present. Present for hubby, okay. They're stylish. They look pretty good. They're in demand. A very, very good material. Merino wool sells very, very well. Okay. And this was a nice merino wool cardigan, extra large, burgundy. Nice. Okay. Just a nice winter cardigan. Okay. Paid £3.25 for it. So a good sourcing price, that one is. £3.25 is excellent. Sold this one for £17.60. £11.14 back after sales and fees. Postage and fees. £7.89 profit, 242%. So soaring above my 50 to 100 target bracket. So yeah, really, really pleased with this product. Excellent stuff. Next up is the new bit of reselling that I've never sold before, but has done very, very well and sold very, very quickly. And is it readily available in charity shops? No, I would say you do have to look for it on Facebook Marketplace, but this falls into the same sort of category as Scalextric. All right, I do look on Facebook Marketplace for Scalextric kits because the track sells really well, and if the cars are in good condition, They sell really well as well as all like the hand throttles and the accessories. Scalestric is a good thing to buy and then split up and sell as separates. This, I'm thinking, is as well. And I'm going to say one word to you, and that word is Subutio. I found the Barcelona Subutio team with the Rakuten sponsorship on, and I believe this was round about 2018, and the Subutio figures did actually look like the players. I could certainly tell who Puyol was. Okay, yeah, there was one with like a bit of long hair on the back. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But yeah, these were a Subutio team, and there was interest like that. Okay, after I put it on, I sourced it for £3, and I had offers coming in pretty much straight away. Now, and those offers are quite low. They would like, try me out a little bit. Now, I normally, if say it's been on for a week and an offer comes in and I'm making a profit on it, usually I'll accept that. Just get it out, get it gone. But this one I was thinking, it's coming quite quickly. So I made a counter offer, and the counter offer was ignored. And then the very next day, somebody came in and paid full price for it. So, yeah. All right, it is worth sometimes holding out. And that's part of the game. That's part of the skill, knowing when to hold out or knowing when to accept an offer. But usually if the offer's coming quite quickly, I would say that product is quite in demand and to hold out a little bit. But the figures on this, paid £3 for it, sold it for £15.60. £9.72 back, £6.72 profit, 224%. Subutio is definitely something that I'll be looking out for in future, and certainly something that you could look for on Facebook Marketplace. But, and I say but, I think the teams sell well. So if you can find a bundle with quite a lot of teams in it, and the teams are still boxed, I would say the teams have got to be boxed. You know, are you going to be able to sell as well? Maybe some lighting, some stadiums, some goals. Would the balls go? I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe if somebody buys like a classic ball, but surely they wouldn't go for that much. That's something that I'm going to have to look at. And the pitches as well. Would a pitch, because I knew that during the 80s, you could get like the normal Subutio pitches, like a cloth, but the AstroTurf pitches, in homage to Loftus Road, Queen's Park Rangers, was beginning to come out as well. AstroTurf being seen as the future of football until, it began to ruffle and players started to trip over on it. And the burns that you would get from playing on this AstroTurf would be, if you fell over, oh my God, you'd take your knee off. So, yeah, Subutio, good product. Next up to tell you about a very, very strong brand, and that brand is Lacoste. Henri Lacoste, I think he was a French tennis player, he was a French tennis player who had a bit of success, and then started his own clothing company and went from strength to strength because, I think the name Lacoste is a lovely name, and a little crocodile as well. Lovely little symbol. Okay, and this was a really nice multicoloured short sleeve shirt. I mean, it's the middle of winter and a short sleeve shirt is selling and selling quickly. Again, this had present written all over it for like boyfriend, husband, dad. Okay, it was a pretty generic shirt that I think would look good on a teenager, look good on somebody in their 20s, look good on somebody in their 60s. So yeah, it appealed, and it was taken pretty quickly. So £3.25 I paid for it, £13.60 I sold it for. Okay, £7.90 back after postage and fees, £4.65 profit, which comes in at 143%. Okay, again, way above mine target bracket. So yeah, really pleased with that. Lacoste, very, very strong brand. Next up, strong sellers at this time of year, because this is the second time I've mentioned it. It is another Marks & Spencer's cardigan and another merino based cardigan. This was a merino blend cardigan, which you would think would actually be a little bit more popular than just 100% merino one. It's still as soft, but because it's blended with another material, it washes a lot better. You're not going to risk shrinking the product or the garment in the wash with a merino blend. But anyway, this was a nice navy one. £3.75 paid for it. Again, £13.59 selling it for. £7.89 back. £4.14 profit, 110%. So both of those merino cardigans came in at above my target. They are fantastic products to sell if you can source them at the right price. So yeah, I sourced both of them for under £4. Really pleased with that. And last but not least on my quick sales for this week, a pair of gazelles. Really nice pair of white black typical Adidas gazelles, would appeal across the board to people, men, women, just I put my gazelles on both of the categories for men's trainers and women's trainers. There's no gazelle that's designed for either men or women. There's some maybe designs that are, but yeah, these were just a normal classic pair, white and blue, or dark blue, and sold really quickly. Had some good feedback on it as well. I think the feedback went along the lines of, yeah, okay, the gazelles that I've had for 10 years have given up. Okay, these hopefully get another 10 years out of them. Really nice product. And yeah, that's good. That's a good bit of feedback to get, because the products that I source, I like them to be not absolutely battered or anything like that. I like them to be of a good quality. Gazelles, though, are certainly something that you can buy that has maybe got a bit of mud on them, okay? Maybe a little bit of signs of wear from that. But as long as the lining inside the shoe is intact, and as long as there's no rips in it, you can usually get them to a pretty decent standard and sell them on for a profit. It's certainly a product that appeals across everybody. It is really a trainer design classic, the Adidas Gazelle. And they have, during like the 80s, I would say Adidas, they sort of like, they saw, gazelles are like showing the 60s and the 70s. We want to move on. But then during the 90s and the 2000s, they actually thought, well, hold on a minute. People quite like that retro look. And it's just gone from strength to strength. What a classic shoe it is, or trainer. Okay, super stuff. If you find some and you can source it at a decent price, definitely worth getting. £10.65 I sourced these at. So that's probably why they're coming in last in terms of my profit markup, because I sold them for £20.85. I mean, a decent pair of gazelles brand new, you're looking at £60 plus. So, people are interested. £14.45 back, £3.80 profit, which is a 35% markup. Now, yeah, if I looked, these were an online vintage source. Maybe if I found some, they could be in charity shops at like £7 or £8. So you might have had just a bit more markup there. But I certainly sourced those at a high price. But I paid it because I knew that it would still make me a profit, and it did. Okay, and I knew that they were in good condition. They wouldn't really take much work in terms of photographing and listing, because I've got my templates, and because the photographing, I know what I'm doing with the photographing. I have like a wicker box, and I just put the trainers on top of the wicker box. I've got one of those shoe stretcher things that you put into. If you look at the picture that I've shown earlier, of these trainers, you'll see the shoe stretcher being in there, and it makes the trainers look really nice. Okay, and quick few photos, just a template listing. You can get these on and listed in under 10 minutes. So yeah, it's good. Okay, so what about the stuff that's taken longer? What about the stuff that's taken longer than a week, but less than a year, okay, and hasn't been put on to the promotion? I'm going to go through these now. Yep, there was quite a few things. As I said, I didn't do a video last week. Yeah, I think that's the first week where I haven't done a video, because I have been on holiday and stuff like this in the past. But last week, I just wasn't feeling 100% at all. So again, apologies for the lack of video last week. But hey, we move on. IKEA lamps. IKEA lamps. IKEA is a very, very strong selling product, especially for the sort of stuff that you can post easy, a lamp being one. People do like the design of IKEA lamps, and this one didn't even have a lampshade on it. It was just the stem of the lamp, and it was an IKEA Arsted lamp, okay, which had like a little pull cord on it, and I think people quite like that. Okay, little pull cord on the lamp, okay, not a switch, you just, and the lamp turns on. So yeah, I paid £3 for it, and it sold for £15.60. So yeah, nice markup there. £9.90 back, £6.90 profit from that, 230% markup. So yeah, pleased with that. IKEA stuff, you can if you look in the lamp section of charity shops, yeah, you can find IKEA ones there, and then Google Lens will easily tell you what type of lamp it is, what sort of like Swedish adjective it has to describe it, I don't know, but yeah, they sell well. All right, next up, it's a pair of Marks and Spencer's corduroy trousers. Interesting one, this one. I sourced it because looking around, I was seeing some of the youngsters were wearing the corduroy trousers again. Okay, it was becoming quite fashionable with those in their 20s. And so I thought, yeah, all right, okay, I'll get some and see how it goes. I can remember I had some Superdry ones and they sold very, very quickly. But maybe the youngsters who are wearing this are associating Marks and Spencer's with older people. I have no idea. But they did take quite a long time to sell. And I'm thinking to myself, just because the youngsters are wearing the product, do you have to consider the brand as well? And I would say probably, yeah, you do. Yeah, these ones did take quite a bit of time to shift. So, yeah, swings and roundabouts a little bit on this one. But if you do see, maybe you got to think to yourself, if you do see like one age group wearing them, is that enough of a trigger to get you to buy something? Probably it is, but I think looking back, maybe a product like an Adidas Gazelle trainer, where it is so many people wear them, that for reselling is probably a better product to get than something like this. If you get something like this, it is going to hang around for quite a long time. I think it will sell, and these did sell, but don't expect them to sell quickly. So the M&S corduroy trousers, £3 I sourced them for, £11.60 I took an offer on. Okay, I mean, I did say earlier in the video, didn't I, that when an offer comes in, you got to consider it. But in this situation, the product's been on for 6 months. If the offer that comes in gives you a profit, take it. Absolutely, take it. £6 and 85 pence back, £3.85 profit, 128%. So yeah, we move them on eventually. Next up, quite a strong brand with women, this one, Jules. This was a nice Jules quilted gilet. I like gilets. I do think that they're a nice product to wear in the autumn and the spring, when the day outside, or you got like a chunky jumper on and the day outside isn't particularly cold, but you do need another layer. Okay, the gilet, fantastic product. £4 I sourced this one for, £14.60 I sold it for. Okay, £9.05 back after fees and postage, £5.05 profit, 126%. So yeah, nice pink gilet, decent size as well. I think it was a size 10 if my memory serves me right. And yeah, these sell, and they sell well. Don't sell quickly, mind, but you will sell them. And I think this is a seasonal sale, so expect to sell something like this in either the autumn or the spring, probably more likely the autumn. So this, because then you've got what I would call a temperature sale, or a style sale, because it's what people are wearing, and you've got the run up to Christmas, so it would probably make a nice present. Yeah, there you go. I've mentioned the C word. It is the middle of November. The C word has to be considered. Next up, nice Monopoly set, this one, in very, very good condition. Monopoly sets in good condition will sell. And this one was a bit different because it was in French. Brilliant. Le Français pour le Monopoly. Excellent. £5 I paid for it. Sold it for £13.60. It's got the Champs-Élysées on, and I'm trying to the Rue de Lafayette, or whatever the hell it is. I'm just trying to think of French words. I know that rue is street. I can speak a little bit of French. We're over in Paris a couple of years back. I locked on bandy with my Del Boy French, but we got by. We even managed to get tickets for the underground for a week. So I was actually quite impressed because the bloke on the other side of the kiosk didn't speak a word of English, but we got there. Absolutely got there. Fantastic. £13.60 back, £8.40 after fees and postage, £3.40 profit, 68%. So we're getting to fall into now my target bracket, but this was a good sale. I can remember as well that the themed Monopoly sets, or the sort of like the different Monopoly sets, do have a better chance of selling than your traditional ones. I would say with your traditional ones, it has to be more of like a vintage one, which is in good condition. The modern up-to-date ones, I don't think you make much market on those. Not really. So anyway, Monopoly, good seller. Number 5. I was really pleased with this one. Really pleased, because it was a challenge. Me and the lovely Mrs. S were in Bath a few weeks back, and when when in Rome, have a look. And so we nipped into some of the charity shops, as we always do, but we're talking premium prices. So immediately, whenever I'm in that sort of situation, I don't get disappointed. I won't be able to find anything. I'd set myself a challenge. Can I find anything to make a little bit more on? And if you can, it's an opportunity to re-hone your selling skills. Okay. Now, I know, and again, this is the benefit of talking to people, especially about what hobbies they have and what equipment they need. I've got a friend at work who's a very good tennis player, and was talking to me recently about the price of tennis shoes being sky high, being ridiculous. She's noticed in the last couple of years that Nike, Adidas have just put premiums on these shoes, and the cost is like, northwards of £100 for like a semi-decent pair of shoes if you're buying them brand new. So I found a pair of Babolat, which I know is a good tennis brand. Many of the pro players do actually have Babolat tennis rackets, and don't see many wearing Babolat clothing, but these were a nice pair of Babolat shoes. Okay, clearly distinguished with the Babolat logo on them, and they were £10. Okay, if I was to pick these up in my local charity shops around me, because Bath has to be considered really as like an expensive area. All right, this area of South Wales is, I love it. I absolutely love this place. I love living here. But does it have the same prestige and the same snootiness as Bath? No. Okay, nowhere near it. So, and actually, I quite like that. But anyway, I reckon around here, these sort of trainers would have probably just been about £5. But in Bath, they were £10. But I took on the challenge, and I'm like, right, Bath, I can take you on. And I did. And I won, because these were a tenner, and I sold them for £21.60. £15.12 back, £5.12 profit, 51%. In my target bracket. There you go, Bath. I spotted something, I found something, and I made some money on it. Lovely. So, So if you are in a charity shop that you feel is expensive, set yourself a challenge. Turn it into a little bit of a game. See how you do. Because if you win, you know then that the product is an absolute steamer. Next up, pretty decent brand, especially with shoes, but these were a pair of trousers. They were a pair of Samuel Windsor trousers, chino trousers, but they were coloured. Okay, now regular viewers to my channel will know that I tell you the pastel coloured chinos sell well, because there's just so many trousers around that are like black, navy, beige, grey. These coloured ones, they're not as easily available, and they do sell well. And these ones did as well. £5 a plate for them, sold them for £11.60. So, you know, a usual in the background, better bread and butter sort of sale. Very pleased with them. £6.84 back, £1.84 profit, 36%. So, not great, but certainly something that can chug in the background. Samuel Windsor, if anybody is into their Samuel Windsor stuff, they are very, very well made products. The cotton on these chinos was a very, very heavy cotton. You could tell that it wasn't going to wear out anytime soon. That they were a pair of quite durable trousers, and as long as you don't get any stains on them, you should be absolutely fine. Okay, those trousers that are sold there should have another 10 years in them easily. Next up, bit disappointed with this one. Expecting a little bit more for it, but just didn't quite catch the fire and imagination. Football shirts are very, very good sellers. They usually sell pretty well, but this one, I don't know what it was. It was a Nigeria shirt. And, you know, I paid £9.10 for it, and in the end took an offer of £18.60. Was it a 20 quid plus shirt? I mean, it was one of their away kits as well, so it was quite rare. But £18.60 is close enough to 20. So I just thought, yeah, okay, let's move this one on. All right, £10.81 back, £1.71 profit, 18%. So, yeah, could have held out, I reckon, for a bit more. But it had been on the store for about 6 months. And if you're making a profit, if it's been on for 6 months, somebody comes in with an offer, and if you're making a profit, just let it go. Let it go, because get the money back, reinvest the money. That to me is the way to do it. If I was to start holding stuff in that situation where a profitable offer came in after 6 months, I'd be inundated. I wouldn't be able to store everything. You've got to take the decision to move things on sometimes. Cash flow. Cash is king, honestly. And last but not least, this was a brand that I've never tried before. So another one for you in terms of not a product, but a brand. I've never sold at this brand before. Haglofs. Haglofs. It is an activewear brand, which is seen, I think, as quite a premium brand. Found a nice blue t-shirt carrying this logo. £6 it was in the charity shop. And I just thought, we'll try it. We'll see if it actually moves. But it was just a normal activewear, like AirTech dry fit sort of t-shirt. Okay. £11 I sold it for. £6.21 back after fees and postage, so 21 pence. All right, so really, not that much. I think with these brands, if it was sort of like a base layer with a bit of merino wool in it, they're the ones that sell, especially with like the more premium names such as like this Haglofs. I did sell a Hoob, H-U-U-B, sort of like triathlon shirt a couple of weeks back. I think I included it in one of my videos, and that went like that. Again, that's a premium brand for activewear, and the product wasn't just a t-shirt. It actually had something about it. It actually had more of a function, and that sold really, really quickly. So Haglofs, if it comes in at like, say, if a t-shirt like this, if I could source it at like £3, because I sold it for 11. So if you can source them at like 3 or even 4, that's better. Okay, but 6 is a bit much. And so it is a brand that I know will sell, but you've got to look at the sourcing cost. But sometimes you've got to do this to actually check out the brand to see how it performs. Okay, so that is everything. I hope that you've enjoyed seeing this. Okay, there was a bit of a bumper one this week. 19 products I've just told you about. And hopefully you're beginning to know about your products. You're beginning to know about your brands. Please like, comment, subscribe, because the whole focus of this channel is to be educational and to develop income streams, just to help you out. That's the whole thing. I quite like the idea of just setting something up, taking a bit of time to set something up, and then just run it in the background to make a bit of money. That's what I like, okay? And that's really what I am looking around at doing. YouTube is such a good thing to look at, okay? Not, if you just type in side hustle, or if you just type in a typical type of side hustle and you watch some of the videos, you do actually think to yourself, do you know what? No, I'm not doing that. Okay, that's too much. That's too much work. I haven't really got the skills to be able to do that. But there's some things that you watch that you think to yourself, do you know what? That's a good idea. I could do that. Because with the internet now, and with AI especially, there are so many opportunities out there to make just that little bit more money and just develop those little income streams to help you out. Okay, so please, if you like what you've seen, like, comment, subscribe. I read all the comments, all the subscribers. I thank you from the bottom of my heart, because I am going to really kick on and try and develop this channel even more. All right, I did miss not doing a video last week. Okay, but for the time being now, because I can feel myself waffling, this is Smithy out. I'm going to go and get a brew because, the old throat, it's not in the best condition at the moment. Okay, I'm hoping next week I feel a bit better. Peace out. See you soon. Bye-bye.